Committee on Transportation and Housing. And we will start as a subcommittee until we reach a couple more members and we'll have a quorum. So in that case, we will hear members who are present, and we'd like to ask senators who are presenting their bills to come to our meeting. So we'll start with, first we'll start with Senator Bates, and she has item 7. This is SB 257. We'll operate until we see a couple more members, and we'll declare a quorum, Senator. So at this point, you have the floor, Senator. Welcome.
Thank you, Senator Bell and Chairman. Senate Bill 257 is a simple, straightforward bill that authorizes the personalization of Gold Star family license plates with an optional fee for that purpose of $49. This is the same fee charged for any other personalized plate in California. Army Specialist Rudy Acosta was 19 years old when he was killed in southern Afghanistan. After serving as a medic for 9 months, he was 6 weeks away from finishing his tour of duty with hopes of becoming a surgeon. To honor his fallen son, Rudy's proud but heartbroken father, Dante Acosta, sought a Gold Star family license plate. His request to personalize the plate as "for Rudy" was denied, and he was told that personalization of the Gold Star family plate isn't allowed by California law. Since 2010, California has issued, upon request, a specialized license plate for qualified Gold Star family members. These are immediate family members who have lost a loved one in the line of duty while serving to protect our country. When California enacted the Gold Star Family License Plate Program, it joined 45 other states in an effort to help mourning families memorialize their fallen heroes. However, these license plates are only issued in numerical sequence series in California. Restricting this special recognition of sacrifice and honor to a sequential series is not only arbitrary, it goes against current California law, which authorizes special license plates to be personalized by the owner of the vehicle. In the past 4 years, California has seen approximately 800 applications and has issued nearly 700 Gold Star family license plates total. That's an average of less than 200 license plates per year since the program's inception. So we're not talking about a small population we are talking about a small population under very specific circumstances. SB 257 removes the current limitation and allows families to personalize their Gold Star family license plate if they choose to pay the additional $49. I would respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you, Senator. And we now have a quorum, so we'll call roll, please.
Senators Bell?
Here.
Bell present. Canella? Here. Canella present. Allen? Bates?
Here.
Bates present. Gaines? Gaines present. Galgiani? Leyva? Leyva present. McGuire? Mendoza? Mendoza present. Roth? Wykowski?
Thank you. And thank you, Senator. We'll call for witnesses in support.
Good afternoon. My name is Dana Nickel with Pete Conatee and Associates. All of our veteran service organizations heartily support this bill. That would be the American Legion, AMVETS, Military Officers Association of America, the Veterans of Foreign Wars, the Vietnam Veterans of America, the California Association of County Veteran Service Officers, as well as the California State Commanders Veterans Council, an umbrella organization of 22 veterans groups. Thank you.
Thank you. Other witnesses in support of this bill? And this is item 7, SB 257. Any opposition to this bill? Seeing none, I'd like to ask if there's any questions of the committee. If not, we have a motion on this item. Okay, there's a motion. Senator Bates, would you like to close?
Just respectfully ask for your aye vote and let you know we are working with DMV on the costs. Hopefully we'll be able to address that going forward.
Okay, we have a motion. We got a call.
The motion is due pass and we refer to the Committee on Appropriations. Senators Bell?
Aye.
Bell, aye. Canella?
Aye.
Canella, aye. Allen? Bates?
Aye.
Bates, aye. Gaines? Gaines, aye. Galgiani? Leyva? Leyva, aye. McGuire? Mendoza? Mendoza, aye. Roth? Wykowski?
Thank you, Senator. It has 6 votes and will be on call for other members who are not present to vote.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other offers? Senator Gaines, would you like to present your bill? This is, my understanding, it's item 5, if that's your pleasure. We'll have Senator Gaines come up and present his bill, item 5. This is SB 231. And Senator, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chair and members. I present to you today Senate Bill 231. In recent years, the Lake Tahoe permanent population has been in decline. However, the region still remains a popular recreation destination, which must accommodate up to 350,000 visitors on a peak day. Currently, the Tahoe Regional Planning Agency and the Tahoe Transportation District receives funding based on the number of full-time residents in the region. This bill will ensure that the high levels of tourism are taken into account when distributing transportation funding. This bill will also allow for waterborne transit, such as ferries, to be eligible for allocating certain community funding. With me is Mark Watts, who represents the Tahoe Transportation District.
Good morning, Chairman, members. I have Carl Hasty, the General Manager of the Tahoe Transportation District, to cover some of the policy issues, and I'll be available if there are any technical questions. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Carl Hasty, District Manager for the Tahoe Transportation District. Appreciate you hearing this bill and Senator Gaines introducing it. Transit is an extremely important source of moving people around at Lake Tahoe. Since the compact directs us to provide alternatives to the automobile, we're not in the business of building highways, yet we continue to see the demand there. We are pursuing this type of population designation at the federal level as well, since we're something that we also shouldn't be at Tahoe, which is a rural MPO. The demand on our system, as Senator Gaines noted, can be 350,000. This is an average daily population we're talking about here, not peak. And we have 2 systems operating there, and we're seeking this again as an MPO and at the federal level in order to start to direct formula funding to the basin instead of us being a rural entity. So appreciate the consideration.
Mr. Chairman and members, Barry Broad on behalf of the San Francisco Water Emergency Transportation Authority, which operates the Bay Area ferry system, and the Inland Boatmen's Union, which is the crew on those ships, boats, I guess. Anyway, we are strongly in support of this bill. In fact, we were thinking of doing a similar bill, and we saw Senator Gaines' bill, and we're happy to support it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good afternoon. Steve Wallach on behalf of the California Association for Coordinated Transportation. CALEC's a statewide transit association, kind of mainly membership deals with the small rural operators. You know, the provision of this bill regarding the water transit clarifications, we have no problems with that. Our main concern is the precedent it sets by kind of arbitrarily picking a population for the Tahoe Transportation District. We understand the constraints they're under, but this is not a unique situation. This happens across the state with operators in multiple areas. And we're afraid, you know, this is going to open the doors for others to try and get these other special dispensations. You know, examples of this, I mean, the biggest example would be, you know, there's areas of the state that their daytime population, their nighttime population is much smaller than their current transit population. So, you know, San Francisco is kind of like the biggest example where they only have 750,000 people, but yet their daytime population is 1.5 million or more on some weekends. Other smaller cities like Roseville, they have an influx of commuters, and so they also have a higher population during the daytime, but they don't get that contribution bump in STA funds because of that. So we're really concerned about opening this door up. You know, there's a need for transit operating funds, as you know, the need for a lot of funding in the transportation world. We don't think picking and choosing in this manner is the most appropriate way to go forward. So,
Other opponents? Perhaps we get a response to that concern.
If I may, Chairman, a couple thoughts. First, the bill was carefully drawn to fund the extra revenue that we're looking for from sources that don't affect other transit agencies. It's a little bit complex, but it's really funding that's available to the state. It's a small amount for the state to consider, and it's a significant amount that would be beneficial to providing the kinds of services we need in the basin. Furthermore, the smaller rural transit agencies that the gentleman was referring to often are allied with cities or communities that have other sources of funding. As a regional transportation agency, as an MPO in the basin, we do not have access to other resources. In fact, there are some restrictions in the compact that would limit our ability. So it's just, I think I'll just conclude with that.
Okay. When I looked at that issue, I thought, well, the Tahoe Regional Planning Agency is kind of an extremely unique, multi-state organization that it's not the same as a regular transit agency. Is that correct, Senator Gaines? It's kind of a special creation of the two
That's
states
correct.
and
Yeah,
federal law.
it's a bi-state federal entity that is unique, and that has to do with the fact that it's Lake Tahoe and that the options are limited in terms of what can be done from a transportation standpoint because of this natural beauty that we have with Lake Tahoe that is so unique, I would argue, anywhere in the world. And so I guess from my perspective, I would consider that very different than other communities throughout the state. And I think Mr. Watt's description is accurate in terms of it was carefully worded to make sure that we're not trampling on other communities.
So in regards to that, I generally agree with the senator that it is unique, and by saying so now, I do not think it expresses any kind of precedent that I want to explore on other kinds of situations, because this is a multi-state kind of situation what we're dealing with here, and we're also dealing with a very unique resource is a second reason. So I view it as a unique kind of trying to manage the situation. So I would recommend a motion supporting this bill if there could be support for it. So, okay. So motion, is there any further questions from members? Do other people have questions? Senator, would you like to close?
Just thank you for the opportunity. I do consider this a very unique scenario. We've worked really hard to try to provide the balance of making sure that the environment is pristine, while at the same time making sure that we have an economic base so that people can have a job and that people can raise a family and get a decent education through the community college. And it is a unique set of circumstances that this particular legislation addresses the transportation portion of one element of it. So just thank you and urge for your aye vote.
If there's no other questions, we call the roll, please.
The motion is due pass and re-refer to the Committee on Appropriations. Senators Bell?
Aye.
Bell, aye. Canella?
Aye.
Canella, aye. Allen? Bates? Bates, aye. Gaines?
Aye.
Gaines, aye. Galgiani? Galgiani, aye. Leyva? Leyva, aye. McGuire? Mendoza? Mendoza, aye. Roth? Wachowski?
7-0, Senator. We'll keep it open for other members to vote.
Thank you very much.
Senator Fuller, you're here. You have the floor. Senator Fuller's here. Welcome, Senator. We are reviewing item 11, and this is SB 516, Transportation Motorist Aid Services. Senator Fuller, you have the floor.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Chair and members. Thank you for the opportunity to present SB 516. I would like to start by thanking the committee staff for their assistance in drafting this proposal. SB 516 will allow local service authorities for freeways and expressways, also known as SAFEs, to fund a variety of motorist aid infrastructure and services, including but not limited to call boxes. A SAFE's role is to identify and respond to freeway incidents, such as breakdowns and accidents, in order to minimize their impacts in terms of congestion and public safety. Under existing law, revenues generated by SAFEs through registration fees must be used to support call boxes first, and any leftover funds may be used for other motorist aid services. The problem is call box usage is significantly down. For example, in my district, Kern County, the number of calls from call boxes has declined by 75% since the late 1990s. Additionally, the Bay Area Metropolitan Commission, SAFE, MTC, and the Los Angeles Metropolitan Authority, MTA, have seen consistent declines in their call box usage also. The Bay Area MCT report their call boxes have declined by more than 90% to average less than one call per box a month, and LA MTA reports calls have declined about 70%. SAFEs feel restrained by the call box priority funding requirement. The decline in use of call boxes has resulted with this technology being a less effective method, a less effective, cost-effective method for SAFEs to ensure the overall reliability of the freeway system and better manage traffic flow. So we have with us today from the Kern Council of Governments, Executive Director Aaron Hakimi, and Administrative Director Robert Phipps to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Testimony in favor, please. Gentlemen, who's, no?
I think they're just in support if you have questions. Basically, the issue here is that everybody has a cell phone nowadays, and people can call 911, and when they call 911, they actually get a CHP or somebody to show up, some law enforcement. If they go to a call box, it's not close, and generally, you don't get like CHP help. They will call somebody else to come, like a hospital or someone. So they're hoping to just broaden the funding base to other more technologically advanced equipment.
And I was on the Metropolitan Transportation Commission. We started the SAFE program in the Bay Area, so we actually adjusted the program as well, for the same reasons, basically. Senator, did you agree to the committee amendments at this time?
We agreed to continue working on all amendments, and we're very happy to, we think the staff has been great.
Okay, do we have any testimony in favor of this item? Opposed? Anybody opposed? Questions from the committee? Senator Leyva and Senator Galgiani?
This will not eliminate call boxes, correct? It will allow local governments to decide what they're going to do and how much money they're going to use to fund them, because I worry about people who, like myself, sometimes do not have a charged cell phone on them and might still need a call box.
That is correct. It allows the local SAFEs to decide which ones, look at all the statistics, see which ones people are using, which ones people aren't using, and redirect the money to travelers' aids that they will use, but the phones will stay in place that are being used.
Great. Thank you.
Yes. I'm going to be supporting the bill, but I just wanted to comment. It was my former boss, Senator Pat Johnston, that did the initial legislation, and it, in great part, was because at that time we didn't have cell phones, and there were a lot of people who were reliant on the public at times when they would break down and they'd have to take rides from strangers, and a lot of people were going missing then. And so it was in large part to address that problem. So I'm glad that your bill is structured in a way that allows local governments still the ability to make decisions about which ones to keep.
Well, I think all of us who've been on the road in our younger days without cell phones really appreciated seeing those. I used to mark where they were on the freeway as I went down the road, but I don't remember to do that anymore, given my cell phone situation.
Well, when we established the Bay Area program, I'll just tell you this, the study we did said that as much as a third of all the traffic congestion was caused by automobile incidents, and getting those incidences cleared off by having a strong, safe program where you can have the operators go out and tow the cars and clean up the auto crashes is really a congestion relief program, as well as a safety issue for the people to get injured people quickly to the hospitals. And so I think it's a really important safety program. So I urge support of this bill. This is very important. So are there other questions? Do you have a motion on this bill? Yes, we have a motion. No other questions. Senator, would you like to close?
I just ask for your aye vote.
Okay. We want to call a roll, please?
The motion is due pass as amended and we refer to the Committee on Appropriations. Senators Bell?
Aye.
Bell, I. Cannella? Aye. Cannella, I. Allen? Bates? Bates, I. Gaines? Gaines, I. Galgiani? Galgiani, I. Leyva? Leyva, I. McGuire? Mendoza? Mendoza, I. Roth? Wykowski?
Okay, that bill is on call. We'll wait to our absent members that you seem to be going the right direction, Senator.
Thank you.
Okay. Senator Gaines, are you presenting for Senator Pan on item 12? Yes. Would you like to go ahead and do that, please, if you could? If that's all right with you. Do you have all your folks here? And then well after that, can I have a motion to approve the consent calendar, please? There's a motion on the consent calendar, and that's item 8, 10, and 15. So item 8, 10, and 15 is the consent calendar. And call the roll, please, on that.
Senator Bell?
Aye.
Bell, I. Cannella? Aye. Cannella, I. Allen? Bates? Bates, I. Gaines? Gaines, I. Galgiani? Galgiani, I. Leyva? Leyva, I. McGuire? Mendoza? Mendoza, I. Roth? Wykowski?
Okay, thank you. That is approved. So, Senator, you're presenting for, in lieu of Senator Pan's busy schedule, you're presenting item 12, SB 530. You have the floor.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair and members. Today I'm presenting to you Senate Bill 530 on behalf of Senator Pan. This measure will define pedal-powered pedicabs, that's a tongue twister, in statute and establish minimum safety requirements to allow these businesses to operate successfully. Pedal-powered pedicabs have often been referred to as quadricycles, are multi-passenger bicycles that rely solely on human power for momentum. Although they have been operating in other states and around the world for the better part of a decade, they are relatively new to California. Pedal-powered quadricycles currently operate in Sacramento, San Diego, Santa Monica, and Long Beach. Currently, there are no uniform state regulations governing the operation and safety requirements for these vehicles, causing confusion at the local level. As a result, new small businesses have been prevented from operating. Senate Bill 530 would facilitate an innovative small business to grow in California, as it has across the world, meanwhile ensuring that all public safety standards are met. Here with me today to testify in support of the bill and answer technical questions are small business owners Todd Sebastian, the co-founder of Off the Chain Bike Bus Tours in Sacramento, and Alex Gibbs, who's representing Pedal On in San Diego.
Okay, we'll have speakers in favor, please. Todd, speakers in favor?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair and the members of the committee for having us today. We're excited to be here. As mentioned, my name is Todd Sebastian. I'm the owner-operator of Off the Chain Bike Bus Tours, located here in Sacramento. We've been operating since the beginning of December in 2014, and it's been a great experience so far. We got into this business by doing a really innovative, cool little project with the Downtown Partnership in Sacramento, trying to bring an innovative, fun activity to the city to attract not only local, regional residents down to have a good time in the region, but also attracting a form of tourism. Initially, when starting this business and having a bicycle and thinking it's going to be a fun idea, there was a lot of loopholes and hurdles that we never expected. And so basically looking to grow this business platform and also making it available to other cities throughout the state, there is no uniformity to it. For example, here in Sacramento alone, where we have pedicab or we have chartered party service, they're operating in different formats. In working with the local city council, who's been very supportive and positive of this, their direction to help us out was state mandate to help give them some guidance for where we can do this at a city level with some of the jurisdiction. That's our goal and our hope with this is to put these safety measures with SB 530 into place and really solidify this across the state level for the numerous vendors we have doing this type of activity can operate more in a uniform standard.
Okay. Other speakers in favor, please. Thank you.
Great. Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. My name is Alex Gibbs from Townsend Public Affairs here on behalf of Pedal On and Off the Chain. First, let me start off by thanking committee staff. They've been fantastic to work with, and we look forward to working with them again in the future. I will start off by addressing some of the public safety concerns. We've worked with law enforcement every step of the way, whether that be CHP, local PDs, ABC, or the CPUC. We've managed to alleviate any concerns that those agencies had regarding these types of vehicles, and we've followed on the model of other cities and states, but definitely took the feedback of local law enforcement here in California and added extra public safety requirements to these types of vehicles to try to raise the safety standard. That includes having a safety monitor on board, having all employees while on board, having undergone ABC training prior to this, and of course speed limits and other restrictions that the committee staff felt were appropriate. I would also like to say that there's an innovative local control formula within this bill stating that in order to have these operate on your city streets, a municipality would have to opt in with a local ordinance. Furthermore, they can designate within that local ordinance whether or not they choose to have alcohol on board. So it's very possible that these types of business models can continue to operate in California without the need for alcohol whatsoever. I'd like to thank you for your time today, and I will be here for any technical questions.
Okay. Thank you. Other speakers in favor, please? Other speakers?
My name is Chris Farron, and I am the owner of Sac Brew Bike here in Sacramento. We started last May 2014. I am in support of SB 530. We started with one cycle, again, a year ago, and now we have 3, and I think this will help alleviate, as Todd mentioned, some of the confusion between how different operators in the state of California operate. Even ourselves, versus Off the Chain, we operate as a different designation in Sacramento, so there's a little bit of confusion, and I think it would help further our business supporting SB 530.
Okay, thank you. Speakers in favor, please come forward if you're in favor of this bill. This is Senator Pan's bill. It's SB 530. Opposition? Opposition, please. Come forward. Okay, go ahead. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Chairman Bell and members of the committee. I am Reverend James Butler from the California Council on Alcohol Problems. We oppose SB 530, at least the section that deals with permitting the consumption of alcohol. Although SB 530 might assist a particular business sector and may allow for the development of a different and more profitable business model, I do not believe that that is the primary concern of this committee, nor should it be. What impacts will this have on the public thoroughfares of our communities? Will it change attitudes regarding public alcohol consumption? Why does anyone think it is a good idea to have up to 15 persons consuming alcohol on a public street in an open vehicle? Is this really good public policy? Currently, we do not allow individuals to consume alcohol as they walk on public sidewalks or have an open container of alcohol in the back of a pickup truck. Will this set a precedent that begins to change our public spaces and make our roadways more dangerous? This will also serve as a challenge to some of the bars that are visited. On-sale licenses do not permit alcohol to be carried and consumed off-site. So if a patron takes a beer and walks outside to get back on the bike, a violation has occurred. If the patrons bring their own beer, can their consumption be adequately limited? Can and will the operators be able to say no? I also want to share a couple comments that I found on YouTube. One is from Chris and a couple others from Yelp, who gave your place good reviews. His first comment, and this is from him when they first set up the organization or the business, he says, "You cannot drink on board. But we were actually kind of happy about that because our bikes are fun enough as it is. We do 3 beer stops, and we feel you get plenty to drink, and you're not going to leave thirsty in that 2-hour period." A couple of his patrons, very positive, includes this statement: "No, you cannot drink on the bike because that would definitely be illegal, so this should not come as a surprise to anyone. This did not change my mind about the brew bike at all. Who wants to drink while they're pedaling and dancing anyway? You have plenty of chances to drink at all the stops." And a final one before I conclude. "At first, we were a little skeptical of this concept, if you can't drink on the bike, but it ended up being so much fun that we couldn't believe we ever had doubts." I ask you to consider the impacts that SB 530 will have on the roads and the other public spaces in our communities, and request that you vote no on SB 530. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Other speakers opposed? Senator, do you have a rejoinder to that, or?
A couple of things I might be able to help clarify. One, on a beverage leaving a venue stop, that would not be permitted. Whatever comes on the bike stays on the bike. It's in a, it's not in a glass bottle. It's not in a, it's in a designated plastic cup. The consumption on the bike is limited. I know for the business plan we're looking at some of the local craft beers, and it's more like a wine tasting or a beer tasting from venue to venue of local regional craft breweries, wineries, things of that nature. It's not an open bar by any means. It's the continued experiences going from location to location on those designated types of tours.
Yeah, certainly, and just to briefly expand on that, this would be essentially akin to a limousine. We vetted that with law enforcement agencies, and CHP felt that with the ABC drinking course and distribution course, that it adequately satisfied public safety needs.
There are questions from senators. Senator Cannella, you have a question.
Sounds like an interesting idea. I was actually in favor of it until I learned we had to pedal. So I was hoping we'd just get taken around. So that seems like a good idea, and I think with the fact that local government has to opt in, so if they don't opt in, that's not legal. I think we should get out of the way of local government and let them make those decisions. So I think it's a good bill.
Okay. Other comments? Okay. Tony Mendoza? Okay, there's a motion. Senator, you have a close?
Just would urge an aye vote. Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion. Let's call the roll, please.
The motion is do pass and refer to the Committee on Appropriations. Senators Bell?
No.
Bell, no. Cannella?
Aye.
Cannella, aye. Allen? Bates? Aye. Bates, aye. Gaines? Aye. Gaines, aye. Galgiani? Aye. Galgiani, aye. Leyva? Aye. Leyva, aye. McGuire? Mendoza? Aye. Mendoza, aye. Roth? Wachowski? So 6-1.
Okay, that's it's on call. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah. Turn the gavel over to Senator Cannella, and we'll take up items 1 and items 2.
It's going to be a tough experience.